let's just check if everything is going live. My side's still waiting for the moment. Let's see. I think that's the worst thing, waiting to see are we live or not.
We are on my side.
Okay, so let's start. We'll check if it goes live on my side. Welcome everybody to our Scrappy Sunday Chats. We are so glad you are joining us today. Today is the 30th of April 2023, and this is episode 14. My name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrou, and yes, as usual, I'm having a co-host, Leonie here, and she will introduce herself. Over to you, Leonie.
Thanks, Mariette. Hi, everybody. I'm Leonie in Independence Yarn Crafts and Stitches. And today we are like super excited because we have a guest we've been looking forward to have on the show for quite some time. Juanita Muir from Juaknits. So, yeah, Juanita, the floor is yours
Hi,
to introduce
everybody.
yourself. Okay.
Super excited to be with you.
Okay. Let me just see here. We've got Edith. Hi. Annelie is saying hi, Mariette, Leonie. Wow. So,
Yes, I see everything is live on my side as well, so everything's working well.
great stuff.
All right, so what are we starting with? Finished objects.
Yeah.
Who's
Do
gonna
you have
start?
any, Mariette?
I actually do. I just
Wow.
made it today, but I woke up a little bit inspired and I decided, let me make something. So I've been talking about it actually in one or two of the episodes, and it was one of our pattern suggestions before. I'm not sure how great you'll be able to see it, but I do have the printed pattern. So it is this scrappy pot holders by Mijo Crochet, Joanna Lindahl. It's a free pattern on her website. I did link it down below, but anyway. So it is pot holders that's made with some cotton yarn. It's originally written for the Gypius cotton, number 8 or something like that, and it's more or less a 4-ply yarn if I understand it correctly. But I obviously didn't use that. I went into my vintage stash. I used some of the Owl Summer Breeze that was still Nortex mills at that stage. And I held that throughout the whole pot holder, and I used some of the discontinued Owl Premier 4-ply mercerized cotton yarn. And I made this beautiful little pot holder.
Love it.
It looks gorgeous.
Yes, and the idea is it's big enough I can actually fold it up and use it to pick up a hot pan or a hot thing off the stove. I used a 4mm hook for it. My gauge was a little bit different, but it's still 22 centimeters wide and 19 centimeters long. It's 1 centimeter different from the pattern at the end of the day in circumference. But it was very nice to make. I really enjoyed it, and it's got this little cute loopy that I can hang up in the kitchen. So I'm very impressed. Let me just see. I made notes. I used 44 grams of yarn for it. So very nice pattern. I can really recommend it.
Beautiful. Congrats.
Thank you.
Okay. We have Marina saying hi and Adela and Rosemary. Hi. Okay. So, next up, I don't have as normal a finished object, But Juanita actually brought quite, and we've agreed we're gonna leave yours finished objects and projects for a little bit longer because there's quite a few and they need their own spotlight. You will not be disappointed. Um, Mariette, I just quickly want to show and brag about this box of mine.
Oh, you're welcome.
Making myself big here. Okay,
There you go.
there we go.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
happy. So, in the beginning of this month, I was in a little bit of a flat spin because I didn't have too much time to work on my scrappy projects. But yeah, we got family that came to and so on, and that's all that I was doing while we were. Sorry, I just notification here. Are you still there,
Everything
Marie?
okay?
You are.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, what I was saying is we had some guests and people visiting, so I couldn't focus too much on. So I just started knitting on my colored squares, and I've got 4 left, and I'm back where I'm supposed to be, back on track. So yeah, just
Well
quickly
done.
wanted to show that one.
Well done.
Yeah,
That's great.
and on your
So those are
side,
a lot of squares. They're beautiful.
yes.
All right. All right. So let me show you mine. I don't think I made as much progress as I wanted to anyway, but nevertheless, there's 2 years still to finish the blanket. So, but anyway, so I'm knitting my Battenberg. For those who maybe tune in for the first time, it's actually a crochet button, and I decided I want to knit it. So I made a few changes. I'm knitting it, and I am changing my main color after every 2 rows. So making it a stash busting blanket because I'm using double knit yarns. Most of them are 100% acrylic, but there is blends in between as well. And this is how big it is so far. Let me just get these 2 blocks out of the way.
Wow, you've progressed on that one.
Yes. So I am, oh sorry, just hit the table there. I am starting to join just my main color at the moment, and I'm leaving the tails that I'm crocheting it together with on the side with a little bulb marker just to keep it in place. So I am at the moment making more grey squares, and I think I'm going to finish that off and then decide on colors because I was a little bit undeciding on colors this month. It's as if I didn't have enough brain space to make a decision, so I decided I'm just going with the greys and doing that for the moment. And then I actually brought it so that because I wanted to show it to you. This yarn at the beginning that we were always talking about that is so nice. I'm actually wrong about the composition as well. It was the L Rustica yarn. I know that's a little bit out of focus, but that's also discontinued. And it's 60% acrylic, 20% tweed, and 20% wool. And I have enough to make another 2 stripes of main color. So I took that out, and I think next month I'm only going to make all my main colors of this in blocks because that's going to be my last 2 main colors at the top of the blanket. So that I see how much I've got left and that I can still work it into the blanket from now on so that it can be dispersed in between everything. Otherwise, at the end, I'll sit with this beautiful yarn that I want to be in the blanket and I'll be finished with the blanket with the leftover. So that is the plan. The
Quick question.
knitted, sorry.
Are you up to date?
Not really, but
Okay.
I'm not counting that much this month. I'm just giving myself a little break. But because I calculated to have a little bit of buffer time so that I don't end up after 2 years and I still have to go do borders and so I have some time to play with, so it's not really a problem.
Okay.
Um, I wanted to say something else. Oh yes, the knitted blocks. I'm knitting them with 3.5 millimeter needles, and I did write a little free pattern on my Ravelry page that you can download for the little blocks. It's just how I knit the blocks if you're interested in that. And that is all linked down below. But I think that is everything that I had to say about this blanket.
Thank you. All right. Just a quick shout out in the chat and the comments. Mincy is also saying, hi, Leonie, Mariette, and my friend Juanita. And Rosemary is saying you're having a beautiful pot holder, Mariette.
Thank you.
Hi, hi, Hannah. Also saying hi to all of us. And we got Sita. Hi, Sita from the Shawl Knitter Unplugged.
Hi,
Yes,
Sita.
And then thanks, Rosemary. Yeah, it's all I was able to do. Saying I've got a lot of squares. Tanya saying hi from a chilly Makanda. Hi, Tanya.
Hi, Tanya.
Hi.
And Rosemary saying your blanket is beautiful, Mariette. We
Thank
agree.
you.
Just to make sure, Mariette, before I just carry on, do you have any other whips that you'd like to share with us?
I have my golden oldie here with me, if you guys want to see it. Um,
Let's have a quick
the
look.
left, the leftover blanket. I actually worked away all of my ends, so I just have this one that I will join my next um, Russian join ball to. So I've added the previous ball that I made, and I've started a new ball. They are quite addicting. I don't know why, but yeah. Um, I'm making progress on this one as well. As I'm finishing with colors on the Battenberg, and there's too little left for a block on the Battenberg, I put it in this little ball. So yes, that's it. That's my whole story. We can continue.
Thank you. Well, if it makes you feel any better, I just started another one as well from the very last little bits that doesn't fit into a Battenberg for me as well. So it's teeny tiny. It's so cute.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's very cute.
All right. Um, I'm just reading Adela's comment here. You won't believe it, but I don't really have any scrap yarn left. So many scrappy whips. My Brioche
Oh,
shawl
no.
started with scraps, but I now need more than scraps. Well done,
Oh
Adela.
my goodness.
Excellent.
Hi, Mary. Mary is also saying hi. Okay. So now, can we quickly have a look at two of our fellow participants for the make along? The video that you created, Mariette. And
Yes, that
then
will be nice. Because
the
last
group.
time we had a little bit of a difficulty with the beautiful video that was in the video. So I said, let me just put it back in this month so that we can maybe see it when I don't have to push the button manually.
Okay, great. Let's have a look at that. Go share. Excuse me if I'm taking a little bit longer.
That is so excellently colorful, hey?
That's gorgeous.
Stunning. Stunning. Thanks for sharing.
Yes, thank you, thank you. If anybody has some Battenberg pictures that they would like to share, just send me a message on Instagram, and I will add it to the next month's Scrappy Sunday Chat slideshow. That's a mouthful. Oh, I see AJ is
Sweet.
also here. AJ
And
and Gert Vega
Gertrude.
are here.
I
Hi.
see the two of them are traveling. I'm so jealous.
Hmm. You guys must enjoy it.
Okay.
Right.
So now, forgive me, Juanita, for putting you in the limelight.
That's fine.
Thank you so much again for joining us.
Oh, you're
Um,
welcome. It's a pleasure.
Myself and Mariette, we've both actually joined two of your classes already. So you taught us everything we know about short rows and brioche. Or I'm talking for myself. But what I know about short rows and brioche, Juanita has taught me. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, that was excellent classes. If you ever see a class by Juanita, go for it. I can highly recommend.
Oh, thank you so much for the compliments. I seem to have a knack for teaching people new knitting skills. I really like to share my knowledge. I've been gathering knowledge for quite some time. I'm very fortunate to have really great friends and in the knitting community. And I think that's what like really inspired me to carry on and, get creative with yarn.
Yeah.
And
So
you are excellent
I
at it.
started my scrappy yarn experience last year because we moved into a smaller place, and I didn't have a craft room like I used to. I had a cupboard now and boxes full of stuff. And I was like, when you start looking for something and you can't find it, it's very frustrating. So one Saturday morning, I dumped all of my yarn on my bed and I knew I had to clear it all before I go to sleep tonight. So that was the start of sorting out yarns. And I don't throw anything away. So it was quite a challenge to work out what goes where. So yeah, and it's something that I hear a lot of knitters talk about is the scrappy stash. Especially Adela, was one of her classes once a couple of years ago where she did the marling, and she also used every piece of lace yarn that she had or a fingering weight yarn, and creating these beautiful fabrics that only you can with bits of scraps, making these beautiful colored fabrics that you can't buy them. It's all unique, one of a kind. So anyway, so I'm just gonna dive in. I designed a scrappy yarn workshop to deal with all your scraps. It can be very daunting, and I decided that you don't need to go buy new yarn. If you just know where to go look, sometimes we need a bit of guidance, and I got carried away. So, um, scrappy yarns is not always used for blankets. Everybody thinks it starts with a blanket. It's one of the things that you can do. So, let me start with, shall I just go through some of the projects that I've made?
That would be
You are
wonderful. Thank
welcome
you.
to share anything and everything you want.
Okay, so one of the best ways of using your scrappy yarns is an akal. So this one is Harmony from African Expressions, and I'm a big fan of Marley Bird. I'm sure there's some of you girls that follow Marley Bird, and this is called the Afternoon Delight Quickie, and it really is a quickie in the afternoon. It's nice and thick yarn. This is the second one I made. The first one I made into a pillow, This was a lockdown project. I know Mincy also knitted one, but it's nice and chunky, and it's got a really nice little stitch, a lifted stitch pattern, and it really goes very quickly. And this uses quite a bit of yarn, so you can really play multicolors or just in the same use of a color. And then if you have half a ball of yarn, it counts as scrappy, if you didn't know. And this one is one of my designs. This is my 2x2 cowl with Knotty Habit 3-ply DK yarn. And this was actually quite fun to do. So you can make it as long or as short as you want, depending on your yarn that you've got. So really nothing goes to waste. And then I discovered through my vast internet trolling, Helen Stewart from Curiously Handmade. Now, she is like amazing. She actually started designing patterns for advent calendars. So advent calendars also will qualify as scrappy yarns because it's 20 grams or less. And she decided to do some designing. So this is her simple scrappy cowl. And I had so much fun doing this one. And you won't believe it, I actually got more of this left. So I need to do another one. Her patterns are actually quite easy as well. No, knitting in the round with eyelets, you can't go wrong. And then one of the previous, yes.
Sorry, that cowl that you showed us just now, did you do that
Yes.
with an advent?
No, this is she wrote the pattern for an advent, but this is just scraps out of my stash.
Okay.
I went through a pink and purple stage, as you can see.
It's beautiful.
And it's about 75, 80 centimeters, which makes it really nice to wear because you can really bulk it up around your neck.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
really nice, yeah. So, and I've got more left, more of these yarns. So definitely, and it's a board pattern, but she really has nice things. So she designs for advent calendars. So many of us, we don't get that many advent calendars in South Africa, but I know of a couple of ladies that actually orders them from overseas. And what do you do with them? They lie in your cupboard. You don't always know what to do with it. So this is like one of the perfect projects to do with that. And then this actually happened a couple of years ago without me really going into the scrappy yarn thing. So this is called a mixtape cowl from Carissa Browning. And I love this project. This is a neutral color. And then this is, most of this is Karua Moon sock weight yarn, and it's mosaic knitting. And I just love this. So I just went until I had all the way to choose colors, you put them together. Usually what's in your stash is most of the colors that you naturally are drawn to. So if you pink and purple and lilacs, if you put your stash out on your bed or on the table, you would see most of your stash will be in those colors or hues. And you'll have these odd balls lying around that you would think, what was I thinking when I bought it? Well, they are very, very good to use in your scrappy projects and to add them in with your pinks and blues and purples or whatever the case might be, because they will really give a pop to your project. So don't throw out that odd skein that you don't think it will work. You'll be surprised if you put all your yarns out and you start mixing and matching. I've got a bowl in my room and I put my yarns in it and I would walk past it and go, no, it's not working for me. And then I would change a color, take one in, put one in. And then I would let it stand for a day again and then walk past and go, I think this is working for me. So that's how I put my colors together. There's like a whole science of putting a color wheel together and stuff like that. But I'm quite happy just to do my plate in the room, suss it out. If it works, it doesn't. Sometimes, you need to cut yourself some slack. Don't be so serious about it. And then we move on to scarves, which is a brilliant idea as well. So This started also with 2 half balls of yarn. This is a zigzag scarf that everybody was knitting with all their sock yarns and variegated yarns, called the zigzag chevron scarf. But you don't always have to go all colorful. If you've just got beautiful, just 2 colors, contrasting colors, and all that I did is I did knitted 1 row of each color, then I moved it to 2 rows of each color, and then I moved it to 3 rows of each color. And when you wear it, you really get the sense of all these bits and pieces coming through.
Gorgeous.
The ones
That
and the
is
twos.
amazing.
It really has created such a really nice effect, doesn't it? I'm a sucker for a
Yes.
chevron. I think you can get away with scrappy yarns, and chevrons is like a great way of dealing with your scraps.
I
Quick
share that
question
love for
again.
chevrons.
Sorry?
Sorry for interrupting. Did
Yes.
you mention that you use a pattern for that scarf?
Yes. So if you go on Ravelry, it's called the Zig Zag Chevron Scarf. It's a freebie pattern. Everybody was knitting it a couple of years ago. I know Adela also, I think Adela knitted a couple, and her versions were beautiful, the way that she put her colors together. I've also made some, but this is by far my favorite one, is this.
Okay.
And
I
it's,
will just
it's
check if it's not linked. I will link it down below the
yes,
video for everybody.
okay. Um, This scarf is a Squiggly Wiggly What from Stephen West. I'm a huge fan of him, and he uses scraps. Well, when he winds the skein into a ball, apparently it's scrappy yarn. I beg to differ, but according to him, it is.
Whatever you choose.
Yeah. So this is one of I had minis from Yama Yarns, I think, and I had one ball. I think it was Minty's yarn, the grey, and this is what it came down to. Gorgeous. I had to fill in a little bit because I didn't have enough yarns. But you can play. And like I said, you would start with something. And if you look in your stats, you will definitely find something like this blue. I don't know if you can see really nicely. But then this blue turquoise ended up being such a nice pop of color into this scarf. So again, a version of a chevron is the feather and lace one, yeah. So this was a lot of fun to do, and I used all of the yarn. I don't have lots left of this one.
I'm just quickly going to interrupt you,
Yes.
Juanita. If anybody has any questions that they would like to ask, you can pop them in the comments. And I just want to read 2 comments quickly. The one is from RL Deploy, says, "Hi Mariette and Leonie, and my special hello to my bestie Juanita." And
I used
Mincy said, "I love that, don't be serious about it." So serious about it. So if you have any questions for Juanita, please pop it in the comments and then we can ask that. But please continue. Sorry for interrupting you there.
No, it's fine. Why I say don't be so serious about it, I think a lot of us, like, we get too involved in the creative and putting the colors together, and it's got to be perfect. You know what? I think knitting is definitely it's not supposed to be stressful. If you are being stressful about the craft that you love, then you need to take a step back, because then it's like really interfering with your creative side. The whole thing is to let the yarns and the colors guide you, and you will be surprised if you don't overthink it about the amazing combinations that you can actually put together. Throw those rules out the door. You don't always have to stick to pink, blue and green, or whatever the case might be. I think when you start to relax a little bit and go through this process, you will find that putting colors together becomes actually quite an adventurous event, like this one. So I had mohair. I don't know if you can see the fluff
Okay.
on it. There's 2 different mohairs in here. I think it's African expressions. Yeah. And this is called the tubular scarf from Summerly Knits. Another way, she has really a nice striped version, and I think Mincy from Naughty Habit has also knitted one with various sock yarns, but more stripy. So this one really flows nicely, all the greens and the jades and everything. And I can't wait to wear this scarf for this winter. It's squishy. It's lovely. The mohair does not scratch me, but I know it's a problem with some people. But that's another way of using up your yarns. A bit of marling. I think Adela will be proud of me with my little bit of marling that I've done here. And you can get such nice colorways when you start playing with your yarns. So this is a really nice project to have for your scrappy yarns. You can just knit, and it's tubular, so you can just knot off your yarns. You don't really have to work away all your yarn ends. Then here's another, sorry, I see I've got one fraffeltjie that's not worked away properly. But here's another version of the zigzag scarf. And this is like truly a multicolored one. So I'm going to start this side. And there's like one row or two rows, all the scraps that I had. When I started weighing out all my scraps, I weighed it out in little balls. So anything 5 grams and lower, I chucked to one side. And then up to 5 to 10 grams, I put to one side. So then I could manage what projects I would do with them. This one is like the 5 grams and lower. If I had a little bit more, I just carried on. So this is like really this is a really nice project to work on as well. And I didn't think I would wear yellow, but look how nicely it looks.
It's gorgeous.
Yeah, you can really play around nicely with this pattern. Let me see, we're still on scarves. So this is one of my own patterns. I did not have full balls of yarn. I think most of it, what I had was a 50 gram. This is all fingering. Most of it is Naughty Habit. And then this is a pattern I designed when we moved into this our new house, and it's called the Bandula scarf. So it's a variation of a scarf that I did a couple of years ago that I did with Eco Fusions called the Zally scarf. So I just tweaked it a bit. And again, chevron, you can create such nice impact with different colors. And garter stitch is definitely one of my favorite stitches to do. And you cannot go wrong with the eyelet. So this is one of my patterns. I still have to put it on Ravelry, but I will let you know as soon as it's done. So there's also something that you can use. You can do it in 2 colors. You can mix and match your colors. So it's also a nice project. Or you can, like this one. I had lots of this. So I just kept on knitting. You know, you can really make this like your own version as well. You don't really have to stick to the pattern. Sometimes you can get away with doing your own thing as well. And then my favorite, brioche knitting. I find it such a relaxing knit to do. The yarn overs and the slipping of the stitches. The 2-color brioche is a lot of fun as well. But I really fell in love with this brioche scarf. It's called Bloom's Basic Brioche Scarf, and it's from Carolyn Bloom, and she's from Bloom Handmade Studio. She did a version with grays, two color grays, a light and a dark, and then she went with pink and blues and beautiful colors, and she actually gave it away to a friend that was moving to New York or something like that. So you get all these like abstract colors, the gray and the light gray on the one side, and all these funky colors on the other side, and it was so amazing. But then I had a look in my stash, and when I put all the colors together, I actually like earthy colors. I didn't know that, because this all is from my stash, and I'm talking stash that's probably about 10 years old. 10, 15 years old. So most of this is a mixture of Karoo Moon and Nurturing Fibers and Naughty Habit. So it just shows you what you can do, and it's like really squishy that the brioche does that. I see Adela also said on the comments here, there's something magical about chevron and a scrappy. I totally agree with her. And then another one of my patterns. It's made with Knotty Habit. It's called the road trip scarf. So instead of just casting on this much stitches, we cast it on and I cast it on and I cast it on. I think there's about 300 odd stitches on this one. And another chevron. So this pattern is available on the Knotty website. And yet this one was made with minis and it came out so nice. So you can make up your own colorway as well. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors here that you can choose from. But you don't have to buy like minis. You can like really go and have a look and see what's in your stash and work with that. If you put all your weights together, like I've got plastic bags and I mark them. Okay, this is sock yarn and I wrote there it's all 10 grams and below. Then you have started. So when you get to that perfect pattern or you know what you want to do, all your stuff is already together. And you cut out that ooh and ahhing about where you're going to get the yarn. You've got the yarn. You must just look into your stash. And sometimes it's so nice when somebody knits something for me. So my friend Anel made me a fantastic little scrappy scarf that I wear quite a lot. And look what she did. She didn't work in all her ends. And I find that extra texture amazing. It just gives this little look, like a really scrappy texture together. And she did, I think it was a fingerings yarn. She just made a ball and she just went with it. So that's another thing that you can do with your scrappies is to make a magic ball. So what's a magic ball? You would take some yarns and you would, don't overthink it. You can have it all in the same colors or in different hues of colors, and you would put them together with a Russian knot, a normal knot, whatever takes your fancy. You can work it in or you don't have to work it in, but it makes a really amazing color. So what I did was, now we get to the blankets that everybody goes for usually with making a scrappy project. I'm leaving them for last. So this is my water stitch scrappy blanket. I also left the little bits of pieces, the yarn tails. I didn't work them away. This is mostly sock weight yarn. So a very long time ago, I started a mitered square blanket. And I had some of those yarns left over. So it's mostly sock yarns, but with a bit of polyamide in as well. So wool and polyamide. I had loads together, wasn't sure what to do with it. So I made magic balls. 2 strands, didn't overthink it, pulled them together. When the one stopped, I tied on another one and I made these huge balls. And garter stitch, 120 stitches, I think, on a 5mm. And you get this amazing colors.
Gorgeous.
Beautiful.
It really looks nice. And the opal sock yarns, their little patterns come through sometimes. I love this pop of pink color from African Expressions. They saw that neon colors but look how nicely it blends in. You don't really see it's neon. So that's definitely one way of dealing with it. And what I did was I knitted this one continental style. So it's good practice because sometimes our hands get tired of doing the same thing, crochet. So I would knit for 45 minutes because my hands get sore sometimes. I would crochet. I can crochet. And then a beanie or a block. I like corner to corner blocks. And then, or I would knit continental style. And I'm actually quite chuffed with this. So it's actually quite nice for your hands to do something else as well. Then also again.
Sorry, Juanita.
Yes.
I just want to make sure everybody hears Tanya's comment. I was giggling here when it came through. She says, "Oh my word, I'm not a chevron fan, but you have made them interesting and sexy." Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Tanya. I like that one.
Yeah.
So
So
another
you,
one from, sorry. So another one from Ellen Stewart from Curiously Handmade that she does with her advent calendar patterns is the habitation throw. I think this one came out last year or the year before, and I love this. It's a little knee blanket, and I put all my pinks together. And then I looked, okay, well, there's one with pink and green. So I went over to the greens and more greens, and then to green to blues. And I went over from the blues to the purples and pinks again, and I stopped again with the same color that I started. So this is a rectangle. So you would, with the eyelets, I really think it's beautiful. I'm ready to knit another one of these. I really, really love doing this one. And she does one with like soft, vintagey, romantic colors, which looks beautiful. But this is what I had in my stash, and I'm so happy with it. I really, really love it. My friend Yvette in Australia also, she knitted one as well, and it looks totally different than mine. So you can really create, and I think it brings out a little bit of your personality as well. By the yarns that you choose, what you like, what you don't like. So yeah. So this is definitely one of my favorites as well. Definitely going to make a bigger version of that one. And then my
lovely.
pride and joy. So a couple of years ago, 2017, don't ask, we all went on the Mariette square blanket or a memory blanket wagon. So the idea was that you would do one block a day for 365 days. I fell off the wagon in the first month. So I had all the stash. Karua Moon came to visit, and she had these bags of small little balls, 5 grams and under, that she sold by the how many ever it was, 100 grams for 100 rand or 200 rand or something like that. So I've been stocking up on them. And then we got together. We were like 4 or 5 girls. We got together and we would like buy a ball of yarn, wind down for everybody, and disperse it. So that's like a great way of sharing. So everybody doesn't always have the same colors. So, and of course, we went to go buy all the sock yarns that we could find. Even Lincoln from Owl, that's like discontinued, I still have a mustache. Anyway, so here is not 365, but 330 blocks. And
Wow.
this is definitely one of the projects that I am the most proud of. There was no thought in putting the colors together. They were in a basket. I would pick it up. If I didn't have pink in a 4-block radius, I would go for it. So that's how this one happened. And when you knit 330 blocks, marked square on 2.25 needles, you get very clever. I think, yeah, so there's like a lot of, I think KnitPicks has got the best YouTube video for this. I YouTube a lot. I went to go look at all of them. So this one was knitted on 2.75, and it's 41 stitches. And it all started with one lonely little pink block from Shawl. This was my first one. And this is like a really nice project to have in the winter, because you throw it out over you and you just knit, because you knit all the blocks on top of the next one as you go. So, and then I just ended it up with a navy I-cord border that took a lot of chocolate and a lot of patience to do, because this blanket is big. So yeah, so you get clever, you watch Stephen West and you find out, oh, there's a great way of weaving in your ends as you knit. I only realized that like 3/4 into the blanket. So the back, yeah, some of them I was actually sitting working away yarn still. And a great another tip. I think, Mariette, you're also doing a mitered square. You're doing the brioche one, hey?
Yes, we were just thinking about. I actually forgot to show it to everybody.
Yes, I was wondering where that one was. You're like very adventurous doing the brioche one. So I've got a tip for you. So when you knit the mitered square, and the whole idea is for these lines all to line up perfectly. When you tie off your last stitches, you like it's knit two together, knit three together, you cut your yarn, but you don't tie off that knot. You put the stitch marker on that stitch. So when you go and pick up your stitches again, that center stitch becomes your center stitch that's already there. So that pulls that whole line straight up. And I didn't do that in the beginning. And I came across a video where they did that, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's actually so clever. So yeah, so I started doing that. There's a tip for you because it pulls that double decrease line straight through. So I'm actually quite chuffed with all my lines. They look really nice and tidy. So there's a tip for you if you do this blanket. So yeah,
Nice.
so that's my pride and joy. I've got another chevron project. I forgot about this one. So there you go. Beanies is a beautiful way of also doing with scrappy yarns. This is called the Pom Pom Chevron by Mariana Martins, and it's just various yarns from my scrappy things. I didn't think that the yellow would go, but look how nice it pops. And of course, I don't do pom, but this one really came out so nice. And it's an easy knit, and knitting chevrons in the round is actually quite fun as well. So I really like this one. Is there any questions?
Doesn't seem like anybody has any questions for you. I see that Suzette has joined us as well. Yeah, when you were talking about the brioche, I was like, what? I never showed the brioche blanket.
Well, you're doing well on that one. I've been following you to see what you've been up to.
Yes, I've been thinking when you were talking about we shouldn't overthink it, and with the memories blanket, just pulling out the next one. That is what is so fun actually about it. I quickly grabbed it. I just have like 5 blocks.
Awesome. That looks great.
So I'm trying to actually incorporate projects per block. So like this one, I made a pair of socks with a sock set from Nadia Abbott. So I did the I-cord start with the color that I used for my toes, and I did the same on this one. So and this was a pair of socks that I striped these 2 colors in at the top. So I striped it into my little block.
That's
So
amazing.
yeah, that's very, very fun actually to make. But anyway, so this is also linked down below, and it was also, I think, one of our pattern suggestions or something once, I think. But yeah, I'm doing it with 3.5 millimeter needles and also the sock yarns. But who knew that memory blankets are so much fun? I'm really enjoying it a lot.
They are. They just get very heavy. At a stage, it becomes a project that you can't travel with anymore because, it's like too much. But I had a little shopping basket that was just dedicated with all the yarns. I had a piece of paper taped in the inside with how many stitches, the needle, because I actually forgot because it was standing for such a long time. I only finished it in 2020 and then finally finished it last year, putting the I-cord bind off, making it nicely because I was like thinking, should I crochet? But it ended up the I-cord was the best thing to do. I mean, she was trying to dye me some navy yarn because, trying to put everything together in a border. So the navy was like the right choice to do. Yeah. So I had this piece of paper and I actually stuck it into one of my knitting journals because it was, I was like referring to that piece of paper in the inside of the shopping basket.
But thank you for sharing all of your beautiful projects.
Oh, you're welcome.
I think we have linked quite a few down below, and I did link your Ravelry projects page as well. So if anybody wants to go snoop a little bit at all of Juanita's
Project page.
beautiful projects, you're more than welcome.
Yeah.
All
Well, I
right.
must say it was quite fun to work out a workshop. even I promise you, you can use the last tail that you cut off. Even that you can use for something. You can donate it to somebody that does dog blankets. You can stuff, I can't never can say this thing. Where's Gertruida now? She always corrects me.
Amigurumi.
Is that one? I'm sorry, my tongue just gets stuck with that one. But you can use it as stuffing into there. I use, especially the natural yarns, the merino. I put some essential oil on it, and I put it in a little see-through organza bags. Put a bit of lavender oil in it and put it inside my yarns. You can put them together and sew them on a piece of card for a bookmark, and that's just the ends that you can use. So just imagine if you can use that end for something, what you can do with a little bit more of it. It's really
Those are
nice to
some
play.
great ideas.
Yeah. Yeah, so I've got some ideas for my next project. So I had these two girls in like ooh and ah because I told them about the bluegrass shawl, and that is from Wool and Pine. It's one of their patterns that they just released, and it's a multicolor of scraps to die for. So I did a bit of a sample, but just in the two colors. And I am in love. So it's a little bit of I wouldn't say it's a honeycomb, but the brioche on the one side. And then look at the back, it's also all squishy. Really, really love it. So she uses light colors and dark colors for the one side, light colors for the one side, but different colors. She's got lots of variegated yarns, and she in the pattern she really explains nicely how she puts the colors together. There's tutorials links, which is great. So I decided I am going to do the one side, the light color with Naughty Habit. This is a merino linen. It's called Anything Goes. So it's like a cream sand color with these beautiful speckles. And then for my other, these are my colors, all from my stash. I sent the girls a picture earlier on, and it was quite a bit. So I'm confident it's going to look great. I've cast it on, but I haven't come to the colors yet because it's brioche knitting. You need a little bit of time just to get into the pattern. But please go check it out. It is gorgeous. But I think it will look beautiful in two colors as well. I think Miss Lamotte. She tested the pattern for them, and she does hers in a gray and a pink, and it is beautiful. So you don't have to do a scrappy project, but it's a perfect one to use all your scrappies.
I see Colin has also joined us for
I
the
got
chat. And I see Suzette says, oh my soul, the bluegrass shawl. She was looking at it all week.
oh no.
Me too, Suzette. I've already got my yarn caked up. Everything is ready to go. I'm also making one right after my ranunculus.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's great.
Okay. So I think, Mariette, this is a great segue actually into our pattern suggestions because the bluegrass made it into our pattern
But
suggestion as well.
yes, sure. So I think we don't really have to give that any introduction because we've already seen the sample.
Just
That's
confirm
beautiful.
I'm
But
sharing my
anyway,
screen. There we
there
go.
we go. So there
Oh,
you
it's
can
just
see the
beautiful.
bluegrass shawl. Yes, beautiful. Um, yes, let me just quickly see. Yeah, as Juanita said, it's a fingering weight pattern, and yeah, gorgeous, gorgeous. Leonie will show us hers when, when she makes it. So
Yeah, I'm actually not.
that is
Apologies. I'm gonna make scrappies.
scrappy.
I've got
Yeah,
another plan for them for
but
it.
it's fine. That's fine. It's gonna be beautiful. You can move to the next one.
Okay, let me just figure this out. Oh, I love this one as well. There we go.
Oh, that's a gorgeous one.
Yes.
Oh, that's
That
beautiful.
is the Naughty or Nice calendar. It's also designed for a Advent, if I remember correctly.
Mm.
And it's a free pattern on Ravelry. And
Oh,
she says here
fantastic.
that this pattern is a bit of a recipe. The shawl is knit sideways on the bias with a small cable detail, with 12 lace charts included that you can mix and match and repeat the ones that you love and eliminate the ones that you don't. It's all done in fingering weight yarns with 4 millimeter needles. So
Oh,
I think that'll
nice.
be very, very nice and drapey.
Beautiful drape. Yeah, definitely.
All right, I think we can go to the last one. This
Stunning.
um, was sent in by Marta from Marta Mitchell Designs. It is the Happy Scrappy Blanket pattern. I have linked it down below. It is not on Ravelry at the moment. It is a
Hmm.
free pattern on a blog that she
Oh, that looks
designed. It's
nice.
a beautiful, beautiful crochet blanket. And she shared it with us and said that I can show it here as a pattern suggestion. So you can
That's
go
also
and have
nice.
a look at that. Yes, it's beautiful. I love the mix of all of the colors. It's really, really pretty.
Stunning.
Fantastic.
There we
Yes,
go.
I, s- I see we will have to wrap it up a little bit here because we are having a power outage in 3 minutes and then I
Oh,
won't have any signal anymore. But we can maybe just quickly go through the last comments, Dion, if you like.
Marina is saying she's also loving the colors you've chosen for the bluegrass shawl, Juanita.
thank you.
And Suzette, we are with you on the temptation. At this stage, just do it. um, Marina, no questions, just oohing and ahhing about all the stunning projects. Thanks, you are. And Tanya saying, thank you, ladies, for your inspiration. I love all your projects. You rock.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Tanya.
Thank you so much. It's so nice of everybody to come and share their afternoon with us and chat with us. It's always lovely to be here.
Yes, thank you very
Thank you.
much.
Thanks for the
Before we
opportunity.
before we say goodbye, Juanita is doing quite a few workshops in the coming month or two um, on a variety of topics. So we are going to update the comment sections shortly, right after this, and put all of those workshop dates in the comment section below the two channels video descriptions.
Mhm.
Make sure to please go and check it out. Like we mentioned in the beginning, Juanita is a wonderful teacher and we can
Thank
really
you.
recommend her workshops.
Thanks, ladies.
Definitely do that.
Juanita, do you want to say goodbye?
Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I hope I've inspired you to get stuck into your scrappy yarns like these ladies have also been inspiring us now. Episode 14, that's amazing. And please feel free. You can contact me, Instagram, Facebook, email on Juaknits, and it will be great to hear from you. Now, I will let you also know when I'm doing another scrappy class. This was just a show and tell. There's much more information to be shared. Thanks again for letting me share my passions for the yarns.
Thank you for joining us. We're very
Thank
grateful
you.
that you were here and we
Thank
really
you.
enjoyed it. It's quite
Thank you.
inspiring seeing all of your beautiful projects.
Awesome. Awesome.
From my side to everybody that joined us, thank you so much for coming and we hope to see you next month. And enjoy this month that is coming and enjoy all of your scrappy projects. And as you, Anita, said, just don't overthink it. Don't stress about it. Just go for it.
Okay, so from my side as well, thank you everybody for joining and the lovely comments and chatting with us. We really, really appreciate you spending your afternoon with us. I'm going to switch us off now before Mariette just drops
Goes
off.
dead. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
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 Bye.